Welcome to the Harnessing Your Divine Feminine show, hosted by Andrea Bagby. We believe that when you give a woman an opportunity, you give her the world. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to our videos.
Hi, thank you for tuning in today. We are Harnessing Your Divine Feminine, and we are the show where we give women opportunities to share their wisdom, their healing modalities, and their stories with the world. And today we have one of my oldest, dearest friends, Rotunda Gorman. And we call her Ro in our tribe. And you're a healer. She's a natural born healer. Her specialty is addiction, marginalized communities, all sorts of things.
Yes.
Like, I think there's things you do that I don't know that you do.
Yes.
And you have, every time I talk to you, there's more like another story comes out, another piece of you. And the cake lady, like, I like to call you the cake lady. and other women will come to me and they'll be like, I need to talk to that cake lady. She makes these like delicious cakes, right? That are like, have become a staple with Harnessing Your Divine Feminine events.
Yes. Yes.
Like cake.
Thank you.
And addictions, right?
Yeah.
So go ahead and tell me, what are when you sent me the message, it was a lot of initials next to your name. Like, you're a very educated woman.
Yes. Okay. Thank you. Again, my name is Rotunda Gorman, and I've been in my field of social work for over 30 years. I am a licensed social worker. I have a master's in science, meaning human services, and I am a master addiction counselor, a clinical evaluator, a treatment provider, and a SAP, that's a substance abuse professional with DOT.
Thank you.
Wait, one more.
Okay.
And a licensed cosmetologist, and I'll go into that.
I love that.
Further.
You're just, there's nothing you can't do.
I'm trying to narrow it down.
No, I don't think, just expansion.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just do expansion. It's fine. So I love your addiction work. That's amazing. You normally teach at my retreats on addiction, and we take a spiritual angle, like a metaphysical spiritual angle on that. Your spirituality goes deep. I know that. So first of all, let's see, what's your journey? Like, how did you people don't in childhood think I would like to be an addictions counselor. No. Like, how did you come into that?
All right. Well, it starts off just growing up. My mother, Beatrice Woods, she was a pillar to the community. She kept foster kids for 30 years. So that's how I got into the caring and sharing the individuals that come into our home. We had maybe 15.
Wow.
That was including my nieces, nephews, and maybe 10 foster kids.
Wow.
Okay. So she taught other women how to, as far as going out into the workforce, bringing it into their home, opening up childcare, and, getting out of poverty, stricken communities, and owning their own home.
Okay.
Yeah. She started, working towards getting her own home. We were in the 5th grade. So I would get the little girls that come into the home from foster care and start doing their hair.
Okay.
So I started doing hair at the age of 9.
Wow.
And I just knew I was a healer then. Everyone says I have growing hands, growing the hair. And, now as I got older, I have a name, to put to it. So it was just something that I always had within. So I started off with hair. Then grew up, went to college. Back then, your parents tell you have to go to college to be what? I don't know.
Right.
So you're there on campus. I never left from home. And I'm like, well, what will I major in? So I believe I changed my major 5 times.
Okay.
But I took that first psychology class. I'm like, whoa. okay, I like this. So they were talking about mental health. And I have a sister, her name was Beverly. And I used to call her Bab. I'm the baby. She was 16 years older than I. And back then, they didn't talk about mental health. My mother used to always refer to her as, oh, she's sick, when she has those episodes. So when I took the psychology class, I said, my sister has some of these, behaviors or characteristics. I'm going to ask her. So I went to the payphone on college, so I'm telling how old I am. And I called her and I said, Bab, what's wrong with you? I just came from my class and they were telling me they were talking about you. And wow, she said, I have schizophrenia with major depressive disorder. Because I knew she had, episodes where she would try to commit suicide. She had a plan and an ideation. And we just became close. So all my papers and research papers and phone interviewer, things that you would do in college, they were built around her. And we became closer and closer, and it was an excellent relationship until the day she passed.
Very good. Very good. Thank you for sharing that story.
Yeah.
So many people have stories like that they can relate to.
So then I took it to another level. I was strictly mental health. And then in 2010, they made us, integrated treatment, mental and substance. And I'm like, ooh, I don't know, substance. I like my mental. And so I crossed over to the substance, and I was like, because you have the substance abuse provider versus just straight mental health. Sometimes didn't understand which one you would treat first, the mental or the substance. Okay. So as the years went on, I moved towards substance. I'm a DUI facilitator, and I do the clinical eval with the state of Georgia. And I just noticed from 2011, it has increased, both, but more substance, because I used to try to keep up with every drug that come out, and just really working with these individuals who, had 1, 2, 3, 4 DUI driving while intoxicated. And they would tell me their story. And, we'll hear about their story, their family, the community, how they're labeled. And I always wanted to, well, I'm more than just an instructor. Pretty much the social worker come out. I let them just pretty much, I walk through the process with them, to be successful in completing whatever they need to complete. The course, whether they have to be directed to resources in the community resources, the Impact Mag panel, the number, where would they go for doctor treatments, introducing them to, see, it goes on and on, receiving medical insurance so they can be treated. Some of them, the common disorders are like anxiety, bipolar, depression, insomnia. Some people use substance to go to sleep. And just how to, since I've been with you, 2020, and that's just been a blessing for myself and for the individuals that I serve. Getting into like breathing techniques, meditation, being by yourself. And my future goals are, since we always talk about goals, is how I can incorporate some of the spiritual and the
right,
everything with that, because that's in our treatment, evidence-based treatment modalities, is to have breathing and how to do it, but they're missing something. And so what I gained as far as being a part, of the harnessing divine feminine, it's good. And I plan in the future just bringing that in and incorporating it into my business and what I do.
Very good. And I met you the first time you took a Reiki class. I was teaching a Reiki class and you signed up and I didn't know you. And I was like, well, she's a healer. I recognized you immediately as a healer, a fellow healer. And then I was like, do you want to go to this retreat? And you said, can I bring cake? And I said, absolutely,
Yeah.
you can bring cake.
Yes, yes.
And from then on, it was a solid friendship. And you go to the retreat, and then you went to the first one, and then you came back and you decided to be a leader and a teacher in the second one. And
third, fourth, fifth.
Now you're just always
going
there.
To the sixth.
Going to the sixth. Always there, holding healing space, listening to people's stories, healing people, giving people like this non-judgmental space and feedback.
Right.
And like teaching people continually, like, okay, this is okay, you're normal, take this step, here's a resource. That's sort of what you do, and you do it so naturally.
Yes.
You know? So what's the number one thing you would tell somebody who's suffering, who feels like they might be having an addiction problem?
First, get help. And some people, you can say that, oh, you need help. Okay, what does help look like?
What does that mean? Right.
Help looks like me, and I know there's several of me, meaning who, assist and help that population. But with me, I just walk them through the process. Somehow reach out by watching this, podcast.
Right.
They can get information. My agency is called Complete Circle, being who you were meant to be.
Right.
Okay. You're not your diagnosis. You're not the substance of choice. Everybody has that, who they're meant to be.
Right.
Inside.
Exactly. Not identifying with the diagnosis, managing versus identifying.
Right. There you go.
And you do teach. And I've heard you on the phone with clients where they'll be calling you all night. Okay. You have to turn your phone off.
Right.
Like Rose's business is popping.
Yes. But you have to find, that balance, which comes from being a part of this women's group.
Right.
And I found that because I was just working, you have to find balance. There's no gray area in between my profession. But I feel like I was born to do this, and I have to find balance within myself, and I have came a long way.
So the story, I know you've got a lot of stories.
Yeah.
Growing up and coming from Indiana and coming to Georgia, but you have this story of like where you healed yourself.
Yes.
And you really
know what I was doing.
You're not supposed to be walking around and sitting here today. The doctors didn't think you were going to be able to have a career and run retreats and teach and heal.
Okay, and that's true. Yeah, a lot of people, I have been prophesized in the church. Wow, Ro, you're not supposed to be here. These illnesses that you have, but you're a fighter, and I fight whatever, and I fight whatever I do, and then I fight to heal myself. But I didn't know that I was doing that. So I had 3 back surgeries. Okay, and so we're talking about substance. I was on morphine for pain like 1 year before the 3 back surgeries. And, like you said, I wasn't inside my body, but I knew I wasn't feeling that pain. Okay. So then I had to, teach myself how to walk. PT, that's only limited. And I learned how to walk in the jail. I worked at a jail, the RSAT program, that's substance abuse. Helping individuals once they're serve their time in jail. They're also in treatment, and then you would work with them once they are released outside of the community. So I learned to walk in the jail.
Very good.
Really, those long hauls in the pots, but also just not giving up. I knew I had to get off this morphine. People were like, "Ro, you need to write a book." So maybe taking 8 a day, I got myself to 4, taking 4. And then I went to the pain management doctor, because you can't do that alone. If you're trying to rush, I wanted to get off of this stuff. And I felt better being off of it. And so, of course, up under physician treatment, I got off, from 4 to 2, from 2 to 1, a half of 1, and then your friends too. My fiance, he would be like, "You gonna do it today? Will it be today?" So I was able to relate, what I teach into, what dependency, of a substance. So I was able to experience that hands-on, and I always share that story. And I got better and better. I was seeking, searching. I grew up Baptist in a church, and I always have been a religion person, and again, a healer. But now I know the name for each thing. And so they're different entities. And so, of course, when the pandemic hit, I was like, that was my first time just sitting down, being quiet. And I was like, I need something. I don't know what. And I was talking to my professor, Dr. Joanne Roan, and she said, Ro, you need, this place I'm going to introduce you to, Inner Space. They are metaphysical organization, and I think you need to get linked. So she still laughs today. She said, Ro, you took it and you went off, I was blessed to have money to invest, and, I was still healing, because you just, from back pain, it takes maybe 18 to 2 years, 18 months to 2 years.
Okay.
So I just took it and run, invest in myself. I always tell the people that I serve, people in my community, you have to invest in yourself.
Absolutely.
Whatever interests you. And I probably spent maybe under or close to $5,000. Just learning, feeling good about myself, finding balance, because I can't work 24 hours. And I tell my,
you tell people
clients,
that. Yeah.
I'm like, I am not a bail bondsman, but you can call me up until this time. If you're in a crisis, I got you. I know where to, to tell them where to be connected outside the community, the crisis line, 1-800 crisis line. So it's a lot out there. We're getting limited. I'm trying to incorporate in my business on how to learn how to heal yourself, things that you can do.
Well, because that's where the empowerment really is, right? We use the other tools, the community resources, that's tools.
Yeah.
But it's really within ourselves if we're going to incorporate and use those tools, right? So when we are mixing like mainstream healing with like metaphysical healing, like that's a mix. You've done it well, though. You've done it well. And somehow you do it better, I've seen, than like other. I mean, you just do with your job and everything, because people know that you're spiritual without you telling them.
Right.
They just be knowing, right?
Isn't that something? Yeah,
and I'll be like, yeah,
better.
that's Ro. And then they feel better, right? Because, isn't many addicts are healers as well.
Yes, they are.
So, and they're very intuitive as well. And I'm also of the belief that it's addiction when you just suppress expression, right? I've noticed a theme that when people are not allowed to self-express, they tend to they'll be more addicted to things. Right?
And one addiction leads to another.
Right. So let's talk about the span of addictions that we could have. How would you know you're addicted? Like, how do I like Instagram. How do I know I'm not addicted?
Well, you have the making the low risk choices, meaning, when you start to incorporate this habit of drinking or whatever drug of choice you may have, it increases. It's how much and how often, how you can determine where dependency began. You can abuse it, but again, how much and how often, and then it goes up to another level. Now, when it spiraled out of control is when you lose control. You can't work as much as you used to. Isolation of yourself. Then you have the mental disorder, depression. It can be before the addiction start or after. Yeah. So some people with depression, they suppress
Mm-hmm.
and they think I'm just going to use alcohol. You know, it's an antidepressant. So the more you drink, the worse you're going to feel, not the better.
Right, right.
So
Yeah.
just, being insightful of that individual. No, I always ask them, how do you know when you had too much? What started happening? They'll be like, oh, well, I start talking too much. I may say something. I feel aggressive. I feel confident. You
Mm-hmm.
know, some substance of choice
Mm-hmm.
make you confidence. You know, and if you're activity and playing pool or
Right.
riding the
Mm-hmm.
bull, you know, just those high
Mm-hmm.
risk driving.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I always have to tell them driving intoxicated is illegal. Did you know that? And it just depends on circumstances. They can lose their job, lose their relationship with whatever their significant other, children. It goes on and on why people want to alter their mood. But you can do things, you know, with moderation. But when you're finding that you're doing this, you know, every day, 3 times a day, you know, having more than 17 drinks in a week, you kind of need to step back and think about it. So,
17 drinks in a week.
yeah.
That's a lot of drinks.
Yes, and it depends on how much alcohol, whether it's beer, you know, wine,
Mm-hmm.
or, you know, alcohol. And just, it's called just changing your way of thinking. That's all. When they're
Your
in
perspective.
groups, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
when you're in group and you're court mandated, that's what I make a difference. My skill, my knowledge, and just, you know, I have high rating on just touching people's lives, making them understand that, you know, and they want more. They have goals, but you can obtain these goals by limiting whatever you're doing. That's risky.
It's a generational, like I found that the people I've spoken to that drink a lot, like to me that's a lot. They were sort of raised in that culture, like they don't know the difference. And it takes, I always say teachers, right? Like your teachers start out easy and then they get harder, right? At some point you're everyone's teachers, right? They come in and go, no, this is a different way of thinking. So you've had a lot of success with your clients. Like you've seen clients get clean.
Yes.
That's amazing. You've had a high success rate with your clients. I've seen that. And they come to you either through finding you word of mouth or
court mandated. Their probation officer. And even working with probation officers, you know, they'll know, hey, they have individuals who need treatment, and they'll say, I know someone.
So, and this ranges all cultures and backgrounds, correct? You have everybody, every background,
all ages.
Yeah. And you just, like, what does a typical session with you look like?
Well, I do anger management. I have resources, people who have to have domestic violence treatment. You know, I refer them out, but I specialize more in substance abuse treatment and anger management. And they're different, but almost the same, because not saying all individuals who are angry have a substance of choice, but it's a high percentage that they do. And vice versa with the person that just have the dependency with alcohol or whatever substance of choice. They have more like the basic, and I say common mental health issues like anxiety, bipolar, and I forgot the hyperactivity with ADHD or poor concentration. So for them to fit in the community, they have to self-medicate themselves to be a part so they won't be labeled. So I try to incorporate and teach them the changing their way of thinking, to be just cognitive on who they are, loving who they are. We all have to learn how to love ourselves first. before being in a relationship. So I kind of start from the root of the problem,
Right.
and then bring it up, with the curriculum or evidence-based treatment modalities.
Right, right. So, and you make it safe for everyone to tell their
Yes.
story to you.
And eventually they feel comfortable, and they share. And when the one who may been in it a little longer, this is my 4th DUI, or I had to serve prison time, and this is what they're sharing and teaching someone else.
Mm-hmm.
And they're coming in now younger, 18,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
19,
Mm-hmm.
17.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, you guys are in here with the grown folks. So
Right.
let me, come up a little closer.
Mm-hmm.
And they know I'm there. And really I have to separate that I am your instructor or you're a therapist, not but they always say you make me feel comfortable, like my grandma or whoever they felt that safe space, or my aunt. And I'm like, wow, and I'm hearing more of that. But I have to, set boundaries, of course, and just tell them we're going to get through this. Don't worry. Take a deep breath when I do their assessment. Oh, Miss Rowe, this is my first time. Oh, and I just don't know. It's a lot. And I tell them to breathe. Let's breathe for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Even when it's virtual. When they come in, I just, smile or wave, hey, because this new technology on how to, get into Zoom, invite, how to do this. And I walk them through all day. You got this. You're going to do it.
So when they come to you, why would you be getting, what's your theory on why we're getting such young people coming to you now?
Oh, well, we see this the new world, and parents have to work, not understanding, don't have the time to understand the individuals with the problem, with the substance abuse, with the, marijuana. They have like all strands. I just learned just from last summer, the newest one, Delta-9. They can't even detect Delta-9 yet with a test.
Okay.
And Delta-8, they sell that everywhere. So people wanting to self-medicate themselves. The parents, if whoever's involved in this young adolescent's life, they're not there. And then people, we don't have that community where back in the day you had Miss such and such. You had the community centers. There's no linkage.
There's no linkage. No, we sort of all live on isolated islands, right? And we just are trying to manage it. And most people who get involved in substances are not doing it on purpose.
No, they're self-medicating themselves, being here, sitting here alone, not being a part of such and such because of income or whatever, where they live, their identity. It's a lot.
I think that's part of the healing of harnessing your divine feminine. Part of it is it's the community that I offer. Like, I know a big reason why women come is because I'm offering community. I always laugh and say, I just work here. It doesn't matter what I teach. What I'm offering a safe space for women to come and heal together. And so, and then in that, people share their stories of addiction and triumph and tragedy through that. Especially after 2020, right? Like a big addiction increase.
Yes.
Right. Why would you think, why did it go up so high besides the isolation?
Yeah,
what
that
other
was
factors?
one. Just isolation. People fearful. So you're going to alter your new mood. It was scary. Like, oh.
Yeah, it was.
Am I going to lose my housing? Income, my housing, job. You're together in a family. My mother is getting on my nerve, my brother, oh my God. And we stuck in this house. Oh, I need a break. Let me go to whatever your go-to is. And not only substance abuse, it can be anything, gambling, sex addiction, anything too much of that spiral.
Anything too much of.
I always say, I just break it down small. Too much of when it spiral out of control. And this is not your normal norm. But that's why that's enough. Death, people losing loved ones, during the pandemic. And now we got to come back acting like it's normal. Driving to work can be stressful.
It's not our brain chemistry changed.
Yes, that too.
That's not normal.
No.
You can't go backwards, right?
But they use that word,
Yeah.
normal.
Right. And we can't go backwards with anything, and we have to use healthier tools of empowerment, and that's what you're offering. And through a lot of what you do is you do offer those foundational resources for people as far as how to get food, how to get like housing help, and you're always bringing food to people. Like, I know that about you.
Yeah.
You'll be like, I'll be there. I got to drop some food off and some clothes off to so-and-so.
Yeah. Car packed down.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's helpful. But then just finding out who they are in this new norm. Who are you? I always ask that. I have that section in a curriculum that I teach. Who am I? And not saying, oh, I'm a father, I'm a, a co-worker, I'm a brother, but who? And they got to really dig deep. That's like a 2 weeks. It's
like 2 weeks you let them research, who am I? That's deep. That's good.
I love that.
And that's very much coming out. Like everybody's got to come out with something, right? And especially you work with high rate of very marginalized people.
Yes.
Like minorities. So you've seen a high like rate on that. How do you offer them more help?
Just fear, being able, I do a check-in when I do my group, how you feeling today? Who were you faced with? What were you faced
I love
with
that.
Today?
What were you faced? Because
today?
Everyone's faced with something different. A different fear or a different anxiety.
And then I don't let it be dreadful. Oh, I couldn't. Okay, well, let's talk about the good thing. What happened today that was good? So I switch it up. But just being able to express themselves, what happened to them today, that helps.
Absolutely.
You say, how do I, address that? That's daily. But I try not to always focus on the negative. Let's look at the good and speaking good and good affirmations. And let's, we look at videos, what's going on, and positive thinking.
What's your advice to people that are they watch the news and then they just get freaked out?
Yeah, that's common. But then I have the people that don't look at the news or watch it. And I'm like, you need to watch it sometime.
Like balance.
Don't let it control. So just thinking positive. I'm more now leaning towards integrating positive thinking. Let's think of what's positive. What happened today? What did you find on your nature walk? Go outside more if you're inside. Join. I have some seniors that I work with. The senior centers are starting to open back up. But the virtual, there's a lot of group virtually, and they are not open to that. But just trying to incorporate.
Right.
My future goal also is to have like a place where it's not set up like an office, but more relaxing, therapeutic. Cake also, cake and coffee, and just different speakers. Like my spiritual, I call everyone my spiritual group. People are in my circle that they can come, and we alternate dates and come in with the population, that I serve, and just integrate some of these things so it won't be the same thing. Me talking, okay, the stages of change. Where are you? But incorporate other things, just make you feel good, and switching up location.
So if you live with someone that has a problem, what was with addiction to anything? Because addictions are like, you can shopping or eating or
sex, gambling,
sex, internet, social media, TV of any sort, or the more I don't know, higher risk addictions, alcohol, pills.
Yeah.
Okay. What's your advice if you have somebody like married to someone or have a kid?
That's hard too. Yeah, bringing the whole family in. They have resources for that, but then you got to get past the shame or guilt a parent or a child may have, but educating them, giving them that knowledge. It's okay to be who you are. Do you want to get better? Some people don't want to get better.
And I've seen in minority communities, they don't want it. Like, therapy's scary.
Yes. Okay. I was going to say that spirituality is
Spirituality, right.
Metaphysic. You know, I try to tap in, talk to a couple of my friends, and then some of them are open, and you have the individuals are closed. So just incorporating that, maybe not like, say, with the tarot cards, you can make other cards, but still it's tarot, and just pick, okay, so you pick that card. What does it mean to you?
Okay,
but using other terminology or lingo.
Other vocabulary that seems less.
But the family, it takes time. Everything it's a process. And if we're just talking about substance, just the family, the love is still there. I noticed that at the end of the day, the love is there, but understanding that your child or the child understanding about their parents, you know, mental health or substance abuse disorder. It needs to be educated more. This is the normal behavior with somebody that has schizophrenia. That's a whole nother TV show on that.
It is.
But understanding those behaviors and adapting. We have to adapt. We have to gain more patience. We're not patient. And they said, Ro, I don't know how you do it. You're the most patient. But I just sit there.
You are very patient, right?
However long it takes.
Because they're coming into you with a lot of shame. What would you tell people that have to, or about to have themselves or someone they're close to, have to go into, like, somebody like you, like, whether it's court ordered or doctor ordered?
Yeah. They just have to want the help, receive the help.
If they don't want the help, they're not saying.
And it's okay. But you have to teach that other individual, whether it's a child or parent, be patient and wait. It's coming. Be open. Learn how to be patient. Keep the love there, but be there. Be ready when this individual's wanting to come, you know, to receive the help, or you go seek the help. Individuals that treat people, you know, like myself. But it just takes patience and understanding. Read about it, whatever this individual is going through.
Like, find
resources
that are factual versus
they have NAMI for families. You know, some people, of course, they're gonna say, some people say, oh, it didn't work for me, or this, like people who have to go to AANA meeting. I said, why, if you're 22 years old and you're going to go to some AANA meeting with individuals that's 100 or 80 years old? Find your space, find your link. I mean, it's resources. Ooh, I can't even count. I didn't know the AANA resource book was that big, and they have it online. But just find your spot. It may take you going 2 a day, just like if you're looking for a church or anything else. You're going to try different ones. Until you find your fit.
Right, exactly. And I think they also have more spiritually based ones, the Buddhist way. I
had one student we had to, and that was new to me. And he said, Miss Ra, I want to try it. All what you just said.
I've been to one, and it was like deep meditation.
Yeah.
Right? And I've also found that most addicts are extremely intuitive, but it's scary. They try to shut it down.
And I wonder about that sometimes.
Yeah, they're shutting their psychic down, because it puts you in your body, like, versus coming out. Right?
But they'll go out too.
Yeah, they'll go out. They go too much.
Observe, you know, whether they're using the substance of choice or not. I've seen them, you know, even with me educating myself with metaphysics. You know, the individuals that's there, but I try to separate, you know, Ro, you're not a therapist or whatever then, but you know some of the behaviors, and they're very intuitive.
Very intuitive, right?
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
So when you are, what's your thoughts on intuition and alcohol or medicine, period?
Okay. Well, I'm going to start with myself. That's funny you said ask that, because I'm reading about it, just being more intuitive. Always, again, having a name, link to it than me just calling, oh, I had that gut feeling,
You had that gut
or
feeling.
that heart. I guess the population that I serve, I've been in it so long, I know the behaviors, but it's more than that. I know what's going to happen when I'm intuitive about something. I'm reading a book now, like when something happened, like where were you? What were you thinking? What were you doing? And there's some more stuff. So I had one the other day. It was just finding this is my work watch, and I was in the shower, and just things come to me in the shower, even giving my recommendations to individuals, because these are individual lives that it may be financial. They can't pay the probation officer. They can't pay for the fee. They can't pay for the classes. Making the right decision. Not only being a clinician, what the diagnosis criteria are, but just really deep thinking it. And I always think about it when I'm in a relaxed mode. And it's always right.
It is. Absolutely.
So I take that. So I said I wanted to get into it. I brought a book and just educating myself. But individuals that I serve, when you're asking, are they intuitive about what? Making the choices?
Right.
Low risk or high risk choices. Do they know from right or wrong? I really don't know sometimes.
Right. You don't know if they even know. They can't discern anymore.
Yeah.
Because they've had so much trauma.
Yeah. And trauma is really the root of everything too. Just individuals, childhood traumas. It's a lot of childhood trauma, military, just trauma in general, of different things. A lot of people don't want to feel what they're feeling. So that's why when they're in recovery, they may cry a lot. They're starting to feel those feelings that they suppressed for years, and they're coming out. So it's a lot of crying. In the therapy role, they tell you not to give them tissue because when you give them tissue, it's like you stopping me from expressing myself. Think about it. But if you're just letting the individual, it's kind of messy, but just letting them get that out. And that's something, even working with 12 steps, step 4, just recognizing, you have this problem. You want to make amends with individuals you may have hurt or did wrong. That's a long chapter to work through. So that's kind of when you really sit back and listen to the individual.
That is
expressing or getting that trauma.
The whole,
out.
Yeah.
But you can't get it totally out, but working on it takes years.
So when you use your tools personally, like your stones and everything.
Got a lot of stones.
Yeah, you got a lot of stones. And you have your stones in your showers to clear your energy field. Like that can be sort of in the trenches, right?
Yeah.
What you do.
And even in my office.
Yeah.
Individuals, if they find them, they find them. They'll say, Miss Ro, what is this? And I'll be like, you know what? Let's look it up.
Let's look it up.
Yeah. And that's something. They're like, wow, but of course you can't talk about religion or politics, but spiritual, see, that's like in between. So that's a good thing, because I'm not calling it, let's look it up. Or if I have something, description of describing what the angel, and then what does it mean to you?
Right.
So
Exactly.
See, that's how I want to incorporate.
So when you have your personal sessions that are not from contracted from other court order, you have your personal sessions. That's probably a little bit more expansive for the client.
Yeah.
Right. So when they go about making an appointment with you, you do an assessment first, and then you sort of let the client lead.
Lead the assessment?
No, probably the assessment too. The whole session.
The session.
Yeah.
Oh, of course. In the beginning, because you're building that rapport.
Very good.
So they have to feel comfortable with you. Say that light. I would love. I just know I have that light, and they're like, "Wow, you so down to earth, Miss Ro. You know, wow, I'm good. You know." And even if it's virtual, I'm building that report. It takes maybe 2 or 3 weeks. Normally, session is 3 hours if it's court mandated. Individual session, really an hour, but sometimes you may go over. But just however it happens, but I keep them on course where they have to, you know, get through certain things to be successful in their therapy.
And then, so what would you say to somebody who's like, I don't need therapy, I can handle this?
I listen to that, and then I'm like, but why are you here? Eventually, after building that report, they'll tell you why.
Absolutely.
It comes out on its own.
They will. And it helps them develop better relationships with their friends, their family, their community, everything, right? And they realize that there's things, they can do things that they didn't think they could do.
Right. And most of them don't have like and I'm going to use the term loosely, healthy community. You know, if they're coming from that substance abuse world, I tell them there's other communities of interest that they have. You know, like a lot of them are entrepreneurial contractors, building contractors. You'll be surprised. And it's like, or I used to do this I enjoyed, but once I start using a substance of choice, I stopped. So I encourage them to go back to enjoy the things that they used to enjoy.
Right, because a lot of with the shame they carry, they don't go back to like do the hobbies that once because they feel like they don't deserve it. Yeah.
And music, a lot of them are musicians. You know, they are scared to go back because sometimes whatever substance of choice, you know, it's coincide with the music, and they do whatever, smoke or drink during that session of their creativity of making music. So
our society obviously has a tons of drugs readily available. They do.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's not that hard to get, right? And then
they're at the gas station.
Right, they're at the gas station. So what would you tell parents who are raising kids today with drugs so easy to get?
I always tell parents, you know, we're busy, and me being a parent, try to get in their world. Start listening more. Because even with myself, my children are adults. I don't tell them what to do or what they ought to do. I accept them for who they are. I started to accept them for who they are. But just listen. Get in their world. What's new? What are you doing? What's the, you know, even with the videos and all that stuff, it just goes back to being patient.
Right.
And open-minded.
Right. Patient and open-minded, right?
And you can't say, oh, wow, you sit and do the video game. Is it healthy incorporating those many hours in video games? Or...
That's a big addiction now.
Yes.
I mean, I was not.
But how can, and I'm asking that because I
know,
I have kids and nieces, nephew, and I watch and observe them and how happy there are, you know, but what is the negative stuff with
the video games? Yeah. Gaming's a whole new addiction now.
They spend hours.
Right.
No family time.
No. And that, because it's an altered state of consciousness. They're just in an altered state of consciousness the whole time. And their brains are still developing. So I wonder how their brains are wiring, right?
And we have to step back. What is family time?
Right? That's true. We have to ask that, right?
It's not walking or coming to work with mom or dad.
No.
What is it?
Right. And then we have to look at a new one too, is the body altering the body. That's like a whole new addiction.
Yes.
Because you don't have to be to alter your body. It doesn't take as much money as it did at one time. And it's pretty available to even like teenagers.
Yep. And they're traveling, you
know.
I have family members who getting 2, 3, that's body
Body dysmorphia.
when they're looking at themselves and seeing
Mm-hmm.
more and more. And I'm like, and I said, well, I hope you find happiness while trying to get where you're getting. Do you know?
Do they even know?
And
right.
what does it look like? And they send me pictures.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, okay, well, all right, let's see what happens. But yep, that's growing. So it's a lot of trends growing with adolescents that we don't even understand.
No, that we really don't.
So again, ask yourself, what do you do? What is family time? What does that look like?
Mm-hmm.
How do you incorporate it? Do you have the whole family? It's just not you and your theory on
right.
what
It's
family.
not right.
So what does that look like?
Or even what does family look like anymore? I was talking to people. I still talk to young girls, and they're still waiting for the Cinderella story.
Mm-hmm.
And I talked to one of the other ladies. I said, are we still buying into that? The Cinderella, that families really look like a man, a woman, and a kid?
Right.
Like, families are everything. Everything. So you have to, what does your family look like? Who are you? And what is family time? And what is community? And do you have a healthy community?
Right.
And as we continue to educate ourselves, you've proven that you're creating that legacy for yourself, where you provide resources and be like, hey, maybe try this,
and don't give up trying. No. It's a lot, even for us to make changes in our lives. It takes a lot.
Absolutely.
It takes a lot of steps. Then you got to set the goal. Then how you're going to obtain the goal? What are the steps? Sit back, evaluate it. It goes on and on. But giving people hope, that lost hope and turned to substance, what does it look like? I always give them another one. Your goals. I don't make it overwhelming. Give me 2 short-term goals that you can obtain within a year. They're like, we really got to do some homework. And then I give them a 5-year goal. What does that look like? Just one. And they really sit back and think. And when they're doing their presentation, it's like, wow. They said, Ms. Roy, I really didn't think about this. And just accepting it yourself. And then you can share it with your community or family members or whatever. But yeah. They don't even see. They just go through life. Even when you're not on substance, we can get caught up. Right. I've been there.
Right. Just sort of in the grind.
Right.
Right. So I like that, 2 short-term goals. And I think that is an amazing tool to give people, and they'll be like, wow, I actually did that. Because they focused, right? So you're holding space for people, giving people resources and focusing. And you've changed your life. I remember a story you told me one time.
Which one?
Right. And you were telling me about being on a cane. And you had to carry the coffee pot to and from.
Oh, you remember?
I remember that because I could see you carrying that coffee pot and like shaking.
Without the cane. So it was the walker, then it was the claw cane.
Right.
And I had a coworker, I guess she was really looking at me when I was on the walker. Ro, you don't need that walker. And I'm in PT for 22 weeks. My PT therapist didn't tell me that. She said, but you don't need it. I'm like, okay.
Right.
I got a call cane, my mom's. I'm going to go get it. And I'll bring it to work. I'm like, okay. So then I had to ask my physical therapist, is that, oh yeah, Ro, yeah, if you want. Then she looked at me. You don't need the claw cane. And I'm like, you watching me, right? So yes, I said, okay. So before everybody get in, and that's just not giving up, goal oriented. I'm on a walk without anything. Went to make the coffee, long haul. The prison and jail halls are very long. And I didn't need no one watching me. So yeah, and I never dropped the box.
No. No, and so many people in your situation would have just given up or just said, well, I just can't work, or I'll just be in this wheelchair, or I'll just be on this walker. Somebody will take care of me. And you could have done that. And honestly, you were in that bad of a shape, right? It would have been okay.
Yeah.
But you were like, no, I have things to do in life, and you had your fiance who was your cheerleader the whole time.
All the time.
And, you know, you literally put one foot in front of the other every day because you knew that you were a healer and that Spirit put you here for a reason.
Yes.
Right? And you're continuing that journey.
And I'm still learning.
Right.
I'm learning. Like I'm thinking I have maybe 10 books I purchased a month ago. And I'm just reading on my downtime, reading at lunchtime instead of working.
Right.
Yeah.
No, that's good. That's good. So you're growing still. So you're giving, when you give yourself permission to grow, you're going to give that energy to your clients.
Right.
So what's your best advice to give somebody today?
To be patient.
It's a hard one.
Yeah. Again, I always love. I love love. I was wanting to talk about love, but just love. And also with love, it's kind of tricky and recovering. But people who are not ready to give you their love back or just to give you love in general, love the people who are giving you their energy that loves you.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It don't always have to be your mother, father, whatever. It can be people in your community and they're showing you love. Embrace that and give your energy towards that. Not the people that's not there or used to be there or you want them to be there. And that's just a start. Loving yourself and being patient, going through the process. That's it.
That's it. Thank you so much for joining us today and continuing your legacy of giving people opportunities. And if you want to get in touch with Ro, how do you get in touch with you?
Okay. You can Google Complete Circle LLC. It'll come up on Psychology Today, and it has my information and contact information on there. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for listening. Go give a woman an opportunity today.
She does.
The Harnessing Your Divine Feminine show is produced by 8 Robinsons TV. Subscribe for only $30 per year for access to exclusive and archived content. Visit www.8ROBINSONS.tv. Thank you for watching.